sports fans, for another edition of our Pioneer Weekly High School Football Preview. Yet again, my name is Greg Buckner and I'm joined here by Dane Pavlovsky. Going the second week of the playoffs here, district titles on the line, still got a few teams alive in the playoff hunt. So let's look a little bit at these matchups we got this weekend for our local teams still alive in the playoff hunt. Big one this week, I think the one obviously everyone around here is going to be really excited for. You got Reed City traveling to Chippewa Hills. Both teams looking to get that district title this weekend, going on Friday. You have thoughts on this matchup? Obviously, a lot of emotions going in this one. Two CSA rivals, and especially coming off a big victory over for Reed City over Chippewa Hills a few weeks ago.
That's it, that 60-32 victory for Reed City, like you said, at Chippewa Hills. That's weighing heavy on both teams. I talked to Coach Larry Joes a couple days ago about the game, and he said, oh man, we're fired up. They're confident. They know that game wasn't as bad as that score made it look. There were a few little things, and something he said that really stuck out. When you make a little mistake on defense, it gives Reed City a 60-yard run, where against a normal team, that might be a 10-yard run.
Yes.
And he said a few of those mistakes kind of piled up in that game, and it ended up, kind of lopsided. But and then, Reed City head coach Monty Price said too, he said, man, they saw it firsthand last week beating Newaygo in the first round of playoffs, because Newaygo beat Reed City at Reed City earlier in week 3 in the season. Reed City came out fired up. They wanted to get that win. They beat Newaygo, so now Chip Hill's in that driver's seat. So it's going to be interesting. Monty Price said the Coyotes feel like the underdog right now going into this game. And man, upstairs we were talking about making the picks, and I literally flipped a coin because I have no idea. It was tails. Chip Hills is who tails was for me, but man, it's going to be it's exactly what you want in playoff football. Both teams going for that first ever district title for both programs, so you could not put the stakes any higher for this battle, like you said, between CSAA opponents, the rivalries there, the kids, obviously, both great running games, both great defenses. It's going to be a great football game for anybody who just likes football.
Yeah, you said it, mirror image teams going against one another, and I think, like any game, especially this one, like you said, it's going to come down to who makes that one crucial mistake that gives the other team a chance to break off a 60-yard run and to get ahead and just make that little bit of daylight, because I definitely don't think it's going to be like the last one they played, because both teams know what's on the line, both hungry for district titles. But it's a coin flip too, and I think just after watching Chip in person myself last week against Lakeview, the way their defense has been playing, and I think if they just limit that big crucial mistake that can cost them, I do think Chip will maybe be able to escape with this one. But like you said, flipping a coin, I'm going with Chip just because I have to make a pick, but I would not be surprised if either team comes back with a victory.
Don't be surprised.
In this one. Moving on here, we also have Pine River. They had a long playoff drought that they ended. Won in the first round. Now they're going over to Sanford Meridian, a team that Morley Stamina almost took down last week in the opening round of the playoffs. So just your thoughts on what the Bucks need to do to keep this train rolling, and it's just the good run they've had, especially with the offensive playmakers they have.
The Bucks need to exactly get it to the offensive playmakers, namely Brandon Fulks. Another roundup call last week with head coach Terry Martin, where it was, Brandon had a couple, rushing touchdowns. Oh yeah, and he had a kick return, and he had this and this and this. And Fulks is always all over making big plays for the Bucks. If they can get that going, that's going to be vital to their game. But a little interesting history here. Like you said, long playoff drought. Bucks have not been to the playoffs since 2005. When they were in the playoffs, they got knocked out first game by who? Sanford Meridian. So some history there. Meridian's only missed 2 playoff runs since 2002. So they have that playoff experience, that pedigree. I think that experience can really help out, especially like we were saying upstairs. It gets cold now. It's starting to get to that cold. There might be some snow in the forecast. Having that playoff late season experience, just playing in that kind of weather every year, could really be a big factor in this game.
So what's your pick for this one?
The Bucks, they've been surprising us all year, but I think Sanford Meridian gets it with the experience.
Gotcha. I think we're going to have to go with the Bucks on this one. I think just after last week, not that one game's the story of their whole season, but Sanford Meridian, coming out on top against the Mohawks team, doesn't have they've got some offensive playmakers, but the Bucks, I think, are just a little more of an explosive team. And I think depending on the weather-wise, if it's going to be a messy forecast, a little winter weather coming in, I think that might play in the Sanford Meridian's favor. But I think if the Bucks can get it going on offense, get those playmakers in open space, I think they have the opportunity to come out of there with a win. Moving on here, we got one last local high school football playoff game here. Got Central Lake going over to Baldwin. Baldwin took on brother and foe Brethren, West Michigan D-League, which used to be the West Michigan D-League, but now the Northwestern 6.
There it is.
But they took them on pretty handily, 15-19, and now they go on hosting Central Lake. Do you see the Panthers coming out of there, moving on to the regionals?
I think they do, and I think Baldwin does what they've been doing since week 2, which is beating their opponents by at least 30 points. Central Lake from the Ski Valley Conference up north had some very secret, some rendezvous kind of going on with my up north sources about Central Lake. They've played they've played 4-4 in the last few years, keeping their linebackers close to the line of scrimmage, which against Baldwin, that's not going to go well. Brandon Childress will be back for this game. They have too many playmakers. They put up a lot of points. They're outscoring their opponents by over 300 points on the season. Baldwin simply too much offensive firepower. And Central Lake, up north in that part of the state, you don't see a lot of that offensive firepower. So I think Baldwin gets this one done easy at home.
Yeah, I don't have any unnamed sources to go off, but just based on from what I've seen, I do have to go with the Panthers in this one. I think they're going to come away, and just the playmakers they have are going to be too much for Central Lake. All right, folks, we'll hear a few more of our football picks for this weekend, including the crucial GLIAC showdown here. Northern Michigan going up to Ferris with a 9-0 record, looking for a share of a GLIAC title. First one since 1999.